Some big things came out in the wash today. Loading. Aside from the obviously salacious text exchanges between the WA Premier and Attorney General constantly referring to Clive Palmer's wait, the biggest revelation came from who Mark McGowan thought to message when he had big news to share. We saw Mr McGowan decided to give one of the state's richest men, Kerry Stokes, a quick heads-up via text about the extraordinary Palmer legislation a minute before it was actually introduced to Parliament. This was despite Mr McGowan and Attorney General John Quigley warning each other while drafting the legislation that it needed to be kept secret to avoid alerting Mr Palmer before it hit Parliament. The legislation even came as a surprise to members of the Labour Party. Later in the text exchange, the Premier and the media mogul joked with each other about front pages from the Seven West Media chairman's newspaper, The West Australian, that depicted Mr Palmer as a cane toad and cockroach. Mr McGowan said he appreciated the support from Mr Stokes over that period. The exchange was a rare insight into the domes of power that loom over the state, and another example of the political clout media proprietors can wield in the Australian political landscape. With the extraordinary evidence from both Mr McGowan and Mr Palmer now on record, the court will meet again later in March to discuss the tender of documents before making final submissions in April. Thanks once again for reading and have a great Wednesday.